The Adventures of Lucy and Max, A Journey to Englishland. Lucy was a bright and curious 10-year-old girl with a passion for reading and learning. She lived in a small town with her parents and her younger brother, Max. Max was 6 years old and loved to play with his toy cars and build things with his colorful blocks. The siblings were very close, and they often went on imaginary adventures together. One sunny afternoon, Lucy and Max were playing in their backyard. Lucy had just finished reading a book about magical lands and hidden treasures, and she couldn't wait to share it with Max. "Max, guess what? I read about a place called Englishland where everything is magical and everyone speaks perfect English," Lucy said excitedly. Max's eyes widened with curiosity. "Really? Can we go there?" Lucy smiled and nodded. "I think we can. All we need is a little bit of imagination." The two children held hands and closed their eyes, imagining the wonderful place Lucy had described. Suddenly, they felt a gentle breeze and heard the sound of birds chirping. When they opened their eyes, they found themselves standing at the edge of a beautiful forest. "Wow, Lucy! Look at all the colors!" Max exclaimed, pointing to the vibrant flowers and trees around them. "This must be Englishland," Lucy said with a grin. "Let's explore." As they walked through the forest, they encountered many friendly creatures who spoke to them in English. First, they met a wise old owl named Professor Hoot. "Hello, children. Welcome to Englishland. I am Professor Hoot," the owl said, perching on a low branch. "Hello, Professor Hoot. I'm Lucy, and this is my brother Max. We're here to learn more about English," Lucy explained. "Ah, I see. Englishland is the perfect place for that. We have many exciting adventures that can help you learn. Would you like to start with a riddle?" Professor Hoot asked. Max nodded eagerly. "Yes, please." "All right. Here it goes. What has keys but can't open locks?" Professor Hoot asked, looking at the children expectantly. Lucy thought for a moment and then smiled. "A piano. It has keys, but they can't open locks." "Very good, Lucy. You're quite clever," Professor Hoot praised. "Keep exploring, and you'll find many more riddles and challenges." The siblings continued their journey and soon came across a sparkling river. By the riverbank, a friendly fish named Finley popped his head out of the water. "Hello there. I'm Finley. Would you like to learn some new words?" the fish asked, splashing playfully. "Yes, we would," Max replied, kneeling by the water to get a closer look. "Great. Let's start with some easy ones. This is a river," Finley said, pointing to the flowing water with his fin. "And over there is a tree. Can you say tree?" "Tree," Lucy and Max said in unison. "Excellent. Now, can you find something that starts with the letter B?" Finley asked. Max looked around and spotted a butterfly fluttering nearby. "Butterfly. That's right, Max. You're learning fast," Finley said with a smile. "Keep practicing, and soon you'll know many words. After saying goodbye to Finley, Lucy and Max continued their adventure. They climbed a hill and reached a meadow filled with colorful flowers. In the middle of the meadow stood a small, quaint cottage with smoke gently rising from its chimney. "Let's go see who lives there," Lucy suggested, leading Max toward the cottage. They knocked on the door, and a kind-looking woman with a warm smile opened it. "Hello, dears. My name is Mrs. Hazel. What brings you to my cottage?" "Hello, Mrs. Hazel. We're exploring Englishland and learning English," Lucy explained. "Well, you've come to the right place. How about we bake some cookies together and learn some new words?" Mrs. Hazel offered. Lucy and Max eagerly agreed. Inside the cozy cottage, they helped Mrs. Hazel gather ingredients like flour, sugar, and butter. "Can you say flour?" Mrs. Hazel asked, holding up the bag of flour. "Flour," Max repeated, carefully pronouncing the word. "Good job, Max. And this is sugar," Mrs. Hazel said, showing them the container of sugar. "Sugar," Lucy said confidently. As they mixed the ingredients and rolled the dough, Mrs. Hazel taught them more words like bowl, spoon, and oven. Soon, the delicious smell of freshly baked cookies filled the air. "Here you go, children. Enjoy the cookies you helped make," Mrs. Hazel said, handing them a plate of warm, golden cookies. "Thank you, Mrs. Hazel. These are delicious," Lucy said, taking a bite. With their bellies full and their hearts happy, Lucy and Max continued their journey. They walked through a meadow, where they met a group of playful rabbits who loved to rhyme. "Hello, we're the Rhyme Rabbits. We love to play with words. Want to join us?" one of the rabbits asked. "Yes, please," Max said, hopping with excitement. "All right, let's start with an easy one. Can you think of a word that rhymes with cat?" the rabbit asked. "Hat," Lucy replied. "Great. How about a word that rhymes with dog?" another rabbit asked. "Frog," Max shouted, clapping his hands. The Rhyme Rabbits cheered and hopped around joyfully. "You're both very good at this." Lucy and Max spent the afternoon playing rhyming games with the rabbits. They learned many new words and had a lot of fun. As the sun began to set, the rabbits waved goodbye and wished them luck on their adventure. The siblings walked on until they reached a large, ancient tree with a door carved into its trunk. Curiosity getting the better of them, they opened the door and stepped inside. They found themselves in a grand library filled with books from floor to ceiling. "Wow, Lucy! Look at all these books!" Max whispered in awe. "Hello, young explorers," a soft voice said. They turned to see a gentle-looking librarian with glasses perched on her nose. "I am Ms. Page, the keeper of this library. How can I assist you?" "Hello, Ms. Page. We're here to learn English and explore Englishland," Lucy said. "Ah, a noble quest indeed. Books are wonderful teachers. Would you like to read a story together?" Ms. Page asked. "Yes, please." Max said, his eyes shining with excitement. Ms. Page selected a beautifully illustrated book and led them to a cozy reading nook. As she read the story, she paused to explain new words and phrases, encouraging Lucy and Max to repeat them and ask questions. After the story, Ms. Page gave them each a book as a gift. These will help you continue your learning journey. Remember, reading opens doors to many worlds. Thank you, Ms. Page. We'll cherish these books, Lucy said gratefully. With their new books in hand, Lucy and Max left the library and continued their adventure. They crossed a bridge and entered a bustling town square filled with people. There, they met Mr. Wordsworth, a friendly man who loved to teach through games. Welcome, welcome. I'm Mr. Wordsworth. How about a game of Simon Says to practice English? He suggested. Lucy and Max eagerly joined in. As Mr. Wordsworth gave instructions like Simon Says touch your nose and Simon Says jump up and down, they followed along, learning action words and having a blast. After the game, Mr. Wordsworth gave them a list of fun English activities they could try at home. Keep practicing, and you'll become English experts in no time. As night fell, Lucy and Max realized it was time to return home. They found a glowing path that led them back to the edge of the forest where they had started. Holding hands, they closed their eyes and imagined being back in their backyard. When they opened their eyes, they were home. The adventure in Englishland had been magical and full of learning. They couldn't wait to tell their parents all about it. Mom! Dad! We went to Englishland and learned so many new words! Lucy exclaimed as they ran into the house. Their parents smiled, happy to see their children so excited about learning. That's wonderful! Why don't you show us what you learned? Lucy and Max spent the evening sharing their adventure and teaching their parents some of the new words and phrases they had learned. They played the rhyming game, read their new books, and even baked cookies together, just like they had with Mrs. Hazel. That night, as they lay in bed, Lucy whispered to Max, "Today was amazing. I can't wait for our next adventure." Max nodded sleepily. Me too, Lucy. Englishland is the best. And so, with dreams of magical lands and new words swirling in their heads, Lucy and Max drifted off to sleep, ready for the adventures that awaited them in the days to come. From that day on, Lucy and Max often visited Englishland in their imaginations. They met new friends, discovered more words, and grew more confident in their English skills. Their adventures taught them that learning could be fun and that there was always something new to discover. One morning, Lucy woke up with an idea. She ran to Max's room, shaking him gently awake. "Max, let's make a map of Englishland." Max rubbed his eyes and sat up, excitement spreading across his face. "That's a great idea, Lucy. Let's do it." They spent the entire day drawing and coloring their map. They marked the forest where they met Professor Hoot, the river where they found Finley, the meadow with Mrs. Hazel's cottage, the field with the rhyme rabbits, and the ancient tree leading to Miss Page's library. They also added the town square where Mr. Wordsworth had taught them through games. As they finished their map, Lucy had another idea. Why don't we create our own adventures in Englishland? We can write stories and draw pictures to go with them. Max agreed enthusiastically. Yet, we can make up new places and characters too. And so, Lucy and Max spent many happy hours creating new stories and adventures. They invented a talking squirrel named Nutty who loved to tell jokes, a magical garden where every flower had a different scent and name, and a flying carpet that took them on journeys to faraway lands. One day, while they were working on their stories, their mother came into the room. She looked at their drawings and stories with a smile. "These are wonderful. How about we create a special book with all your adventures?" Lucy and Max's eyes lit up. "Yes, please," they chorused. Their parents helped them put together a scrapbook filled with their maps, stories, and drawings. They called it The Adventures of Lucy and Max in Englishland. It became a treasured book that they loved to read and share with friends and family. As the years went by, Lucy and Max continued to learn and grow. Their love for English and learning never waned. They discovered new books, wrote more stories, and even started a book club with their friends. One summer, their parents decided to take them on a trip to England. Lucy and Max were thrilled. They couldn't wait to see the places they had read about in their books and practiced learning English words for. In England, they visited famous landmarks like Big Ben, the Tower of London, and the British Museum. They walked through picturesque villages, explored ancient castles, and even took a boat ride on the River Thames. Everywhere they went, they practiced speaking English with the locals, feeling more confident with each conversation. One day, while exploring a charming village, they stumbled upon a quaint bookstore. The owner, an elderly gentleman with a friendly smile, welcomed them warmly. "Welcome to my bookstore. Feel free to look around," he said. Lucy and Max wandered through the shelves, admiring the vast collection of books. Lucy picked up a book with beautiful illustrations of English fairy tales, while Max found a book about the history of England. The bookstore owner noticed their interest and struck up a conversation. "Are you enjoying your visit to England?" "Yes, we are. We're learning so much," Lucy said. "That's wonderful to hear. Books are the best way to learn and explore new worlds," the owner said with a twinkle in his eye. "Let me show you something special." He led them to a section of the bookstore filled with old, leather-bound books. "These are some of the oldest books in my collection. They tell the stories of England's past, filled with adventures, magic, and history." Lucy and Max listened intently as the owner told them stories about knights and dragons, queens and kings, and the rich history of the land. They were fascinated and inspired to continue their own storytelling journey. When it was time to leave, the owner gifted them each a book. "Keep these as a reminder of your visit and the endless adventures waiting for you in the world of books." Back home, Lucy and Max shared their experiences with their friends and family. They incorporated the stories and knowledge they had gained into their own adventures in Englishland. One day, Lucy had another idea. "Max, why don't we create a club for kids who love to read and learn like us? We can call it the Englishland Explorers Club." Max loved the idea. That's perfect. We can have meetings, share books, and go on learning adventures together. Their parents helped them set up the club, and soon, many of their friends joined. They held weekly meetings where they discussed books, played learning games, and shared their own stories and drawings. They even organized field trips to places like the local library, museums, and parks, where they could explore and learn more about the world around them. The Englishland Explorers Club became a huge success. It brought together children who shared a love for reading, learning, and imagination. Lucy and Max were proud of their club and the joy it brought to so many. As they grew older, Lucy and Max continued to cherish the lessons and adventures from their childhood. They remained passionate about learning and helping others discover the magic of Englishland. Their journey taught them that with imagination, curiosity, and a love for learning, anything was possible. And so, the adventures of Lucy and Max in Englishland lived on, inspiring countless others to explore, dream, and discover the wonders of the world through the power of language and imagination. The end.